Hello, I'm Ryan, lead developer of Ethereal here at Fineground Cryptids. The past 2 weeks have been super busy for myself and the team as we've worked through bringing our TTRPG Ethereal into the public eye when we did our first couple of Twitch streams now, and this week now with our first YouTube video, What is Ethereal? I'm going to try keeping this video as top line as possible without being too vague, as I could honestly be speaking about everything we have in our system for hours because we're super excited. Just know that we have more content coming that will further expand on every element that we talk about in this video. So if you have a question at any point like, oh, I wonder what this is about or what could this mean down the road, we definitely have stuff and plans to talk about it. And also feel free to check out the Twitch channel, which we have linked down in the description, because we're always happy to live chat through some of the stuff if anything here catches your eye. First off, with every design decision that we've made with Ethereal, we've painstakingly ensured that the game is accessible to all players, regardless of how experienced they are, not with only our system, but with TTRPGs in general. We know people come from all over the place and everything grabs interest from different eyes, so we want to make sure anybody and everyone can enjoy the game. We have a ton of material to help new players, but we also ensure that there's a lot of meat and depth for those that are very familiar with the genre and want to try something new. Ethereal is our kick at the proverbial can in the tabletop role-playing game genre. The three of us here at Fineground Cryptids are all huge fans of the gaming space, each with our own tastes and own experiences. We figured it was time to try it ourselves. In our game, you play as an agent of the Beacon, a government organization that's set at solving mysteries related to anything potentially connected to cryptids. Set in the early 1900s, our group of agents travel around the world and face off against familiar creatures such as Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster, Mothman, and some of our own designs as well, such as the Contortionist. As an agent of the Beacon, not only are you supposed to solve mysteries related to these creatures and stop them from wreaking havoc, you need to create these cover-up stories as well so that the greater public do not become aware of the existence of these creatures, and so that they remain as part of only conspiracy theories. Now, we know we're not the first group to take on this sort of genre of hunting down cryptids or working for a government agency that specializes in Lovecraftian horrors and supernatural beings. But what we're really hoping to bring to the table is something that we personally have not had the itch fully scratched by others. Ethereal intends to be an interesting blend of high-power fantasy, but still remaining deadly. Whereas other systems generally are very gritty and realistic, in our system the abilities that players are granted really represent that they are the best of the best at the Beacon. There's a reason that you are an agent of the Beacon. We find a lot of other systems don't want you fighting the creatures and rather just survive them, which is totally fine. But here, for us, we want you fighting these creatures. We want you taking on these epic fights of humanity versus cryptid. However, at the end of the day, you are still a human, and the creatures that you fight are still deadly and can hurt you both mentally and physically. So, we're really looking for this nice blend of high-power fantasy while also having a threat. And honestly, it's a hard blend to get just right, but we're very confident on the track that we have so far. Next with Ethereal, we really want to emphasize a connection between the stories and the mysteries being told, and that tied back into combat. Since players will often find themselves trying to uncover tall tales of cryptids, we want to make sure that combat has a connection and a role with that. So the GM's given a lot of tools and ways to give subtle hints about particular strengths of enemies, weaknesses, and even how to stop these powerful attacks that we like to call telegraphed attacks. More about those in a future video though. In combat, we really emphasize teamwork and strategy. Positioning is important. Using the previously mentioned clues from the mystery and managing your character's personal resources are all keys to success. Teamwork is also very crucial in Ethereal, and it can honestly make or break a fight. We really want to make sure that we have a system where players don't just take their turn and then put their head down. We want everybody engaged and always engaged. Though I'll discuss this more at a later time, one way we've done this, though, is through something called an essence system, a mechanic that essentially lets you grant a limited resource to a greater pool for allies to tap into and empower themselves. However, you have to be careful because enemies can also use these essences if left unchecked, so it creates this very fun balance and dynamic of you and your players trying to figure out who can use what essence and when can they use them, and if they can use them before an enemy does. As for character design, we're using a class-based system, which for us we call divisions, and your subclasses, known as specialties. Your division, like any class, really defines your character in broad strokes and what their role at the Beacon and within their field team is. We have divisions such as, but not limited to, the detective, the engineer, the trooper, and a little bit stranger, one known as the accursed. That's one of my favorites. We'll do a deep dive of each of these divisions at some point. Your specialty is then what further refines your role, putting them in a specific category. This is then where our leveling system gets detailed and you can really build the character that you want. We have a leveling system that I like to call Or, Boon, All. And that's because of the pattern that we've placed as you level up. At level 1, you have one of 2 abilities to choose from. At level 2, you get a small list of 4 to 5 choices of minor boons to pick. At level 3, you then get 2 things. One is a stat increase, one that we're all very familiar with, and the other is a free ability. This free ability often plays directly into the core playstyle of your character, or their specialty, or the intention of the class, such as if you're a martial or a spellcaster. This pattern then repeats throughout the leveling system itself, with later levels all becoming just the main stat increases for some specialties, and the boons being offered become more and more powerful as you level up, eventually becoming super strong options given at level 11, which is our max level. All these choices throughout allow you to really direct specifically how you want your specialty to play, perhaps focusing on a specific area across all choices, or maybe even being more broad and having maybe more of a jack of all trades within that specific role. To add an extra flavor, we also have a qualification system that we like to call. We'll do a deep dive of this definitely at a later time because there's so much we could talk about the qualification system. But for now, just want to say that this is probably one of the ones that I'm most excited about because in all of our playtests, we've gone non-stop praise about the qualification system. Essentially what it is kind of like a feat system, but it's a list of abilities that have their own levels. Whenever your qualification level increases, you can either choose to go deeper into a specific tree of a qualification you've already unlocked, or you can dip into another one, allowing you to go into 3, 4, 5 if you want, or very specifically go into just one. That allows you to really go broad or very specific. Your qualification level increases every time your main stat increases, so you'll get to frequently tap into this system without the worry of your main stats suffering for it. Qualifications are all designed to allow you to either really bring up your strengths or limit your weaknesses as a specialty, which means everybody and every player is going to have a very unique character even if they play the same specialty, as long as they're going to a different branch of qualifications. Bringing everything together, we're really hoping to create a unique experience where you can make a character that you thoroughly enjoy while solving mysteries about the unknown. We want combat to feel impactful and stressful, but ultimately, every design choice we make is to ensure that both the GM and the players have fun. Now, before I sign off for this video, I want to do a quick highlight of what we intend to do with this channel. Ethereal is in active development, and it will continue to be for some time. We're hoping, though, that by the middle of next year, we'll be able to release a quick guide for you and open play testing. Our goal is at Fine Ground Cryptids is to put a new video every week, one video per week for this YouTube channel. These videos, however, will not always highlight Ethereal. We actually have a ton of content planned to discuss TTRPG design in general. We hope to really build a community of thoughtful and kind designers to discuss all things TTRPG, not just Ethereal. We also do have our weekly Twitch streams, stream about once to twice a week for a couple of hours. We really appreciate you taking the time of listening about our system. We're super excited to show off more, and you'll be hearing a lot from us in the months to come. If you like what you heard in this video and you want to hear more, make sure to follow our Twitch account, linked below, where we stream, like I said, 1 to 2 times a week. And of course, make sure to subscribe to this channel. I'm Ryan, and I'll see you in the next video talking about some interesting playtesting information.